Hello there, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I've got a very simple premise for you. I want to build something atmospheric. I want to change Minecraft in a special way. Actually what you're looking at right now is the finished product, although it's hidden behind mist and fog and shaders and interesting things like that. And I hope that you watch to the end so you can see how this thing comes together. And I'm trying to go for a brutalist style with this one. It's kind of like a Russian architecture, very 1960s. It's also very intrusive, depressing. It's just a very evil bad guy type architecture, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. And the style and the thing that I want to change Minecraft with, because I know that's the name of the video, I want to use biomes to do atmosphere. And the biome that I'm choosing was the Pale Garden because it makes the sky look grey and the grass look grey. So that's how I want to build atmosphere with this. So this is the first layout that I've got here, and I worked pretty hard on this to try and get it. I want to explain each individual part. So the yellow bit is the main road that you're going to be able to walk down, and on your right and your left there'll be buildings or whatever. So you walk down this main road and it feels really, everything connects. So you can walk down this entire area and eventually everything will connect. These red ones are going to be in between buildings. So if you want to, you can just walk in between the buildings instead of walking down the main road, and you can make your own path, which will feel a lot better than following a pre-designed one. Although all of the roads are pre-designed, it's a little trick that I created. There's even one with a dead end over here to make you feel like, oh, I've done something wrong, so you have to go back on yourself. And I like that most of it all connects to itself. And this green wall around the barrier is going to be basically just a big wall. It's going to be something to stop you from looking at everything else out here, so it feels like you're actually like in this enclosed space. And another thing I do want to try is if I go into my biome painter tool here and I get out the Pale Garden, it changes the grass this grey color. And when you step inside, hopefully, yes, makes the sky go grey too. This is like this really creepy feeling, and this is what I'm going to do with the area where the sky's grey, the grass is. I didn't realize the grass would go that grey. I actually didn't know that, but it's still pretty cool, right? And I'm gonna turn this off now because I don't want to get depressed while I'm building. But you can see how the sky went grey, and I'm gonna use little effects like that all throughout this village, this build, to make it look like that. And for the grass, I think I'll use pale moss instead of actually using grass because that was way too dark just then. So I used pale moss instead. Next, we do blocks, but the big kind. Okay, well, that took a while. What I've done now is I've built everything up. I've added all in where all the houses are going to be, all the buildings, and I've built up the wall. And that took a surprising while because I had to design each one of these houses. I know they only look like cubes, but I had to be thinking about how you traverse, how you walk in between them. Because some houses were going to be like two split houses, so you can have these one walkways. There's 3 levels of walkways. There's a 5 one, which is these big gaps, and then there's these smaller ones, and then there's the 1 block ones, and there's lots of levels where you can walk through too. And I'm really happy with certain areas. Like I really like you could jump from the big ones down onto the small paths into these like little corridors, and there's 2 areas where you can do that. There it is. The other one's over here into a 1 block, which looks really nice, and they're just really cool ways of traversing. I've tried to make it so every single point in this map you can traverse around, and you can see it's just one big circle, right? Well, not really. It's a weirdly shaped circle, but it's a you can just walk around this shape all the way around there, and you always come back to the start. And this means that you never really get lost in here because it's the complete opposite of a maze. Everything connects to itself. But yeah, I really like the design of this little city here. We've got I don't even want to count, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. We've got 17 buildings here, which I'm going to design, which is a little more than the 6 I did in that video, but hopefully they should be easier because they're all in the same style. So the first thing we can do now is, because we've started on this now, we can just select all these dye colors again, these wall colors, and once we grab those, we can start to color these things in the correct way. The first thing I want to try is the purple buildings. Let's just go / replace hand with 1, which is basically the way you transform anything into stone, like that because stone's ID number in Minecraft, at least within World Edit, is 1. I don't really understand how that's the only one I remember, by the way, and it's pretty easy to remember. So ask me any of the other numbers, I will not know. Maybe 53 is diamond blocks, I think, but I'm not going to try that now because it's probably wrong, knowing me. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to change yellow wool into deep slate like that, and that should make the floors. I want to replace the walls with tuff, so replace hand with tuff, like so. What we need to do now, and I'm not going to do this all on camera because that could take a mighty long time, is I need to make it so all these buildings don't just look like big blobs. So I need to add windows in, and I need to add doors and just things like that, and do the broad strokes of this entire area so it actually looks like it's an entire area. To save time and to make this as brief as possible, I'm going to do this bit in a whole time lapse. I'm going to be 100% honest, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. You should also notice that by now I've changed the color of the biome over, so the sky goes all grey. One thing I didn't realize is this is a mistake, is that you can see everything in the background. I'm probably going to move it further away so you can't see all this stuff that are hidden by the fog. Maybe I'll duplicate it so I don't ruin anything. But I've made all of the windows, all of the shapes of the building, some of the colors, just unique little elements, and these are the broad strokes. Now, some buildings are finished, some aren't, like this little superstore here. This isn't, I mean, no buildings are finished right now because we still have a lot to do, and that includes like texturing. But a lot of buildings have all their details done. Some buildings don't, because I'll do that tomorrow. No, this has taken quite a while. Really, I've just done half of the work today, so I can do the other half of the work tomorrow. I don't plan on doing any interiors for buildings, although I do plan on making some buildings look like they have interiors, so that when you walk by everything, it doesn't feel like just completely empty. Like this one, you can't walk really around that. It's so filled to the max. It's like one block of space. But from the outside, it looks pretty nice, and that's what I want to do in some buildings, like that one. And a lot of these buildings, they've got windows in weird places, and it's mainly just about the feeling when you walk around here. What I was thinking, and this could be an interesting concept, maybe I'll do it in another video if you like watching this one, if you enjoyed sticking around, what could be an interesting thing to do is if we turn this into a little puzzle map, like an escape room where you have to figure out everything whilst you're inside this little town. You've also noticed that I've changed the walkways in between. I've changed those to pale moss instead because I think that just looks nicer, and it allows me to do a little bit of greenery in the area. But it helps everything stay grey because the greenery we were using is more of like a grey, and that means that if I get some coral out, any type of coral will really work. I don't know if I'm going to do this right now, but I can add in little like spots of this, and it looks like grass is growing. Maybe there's better one. Maybe there's better coral that I can use for this, but you sort of get the idea. Anyways, I am jabbering on. I'll be honest about that. But what we've done so far, what we did in that time lapse, was actually a lot of work, and I'm glad that we've got a big chunk of it done today. Woo! Silverback Gorilla can lift over 1,763 pounds. Well, hello everybody. Now we are 12 hours in, around that at least, because it says it's been half a day since I started. I checked the statistics when I started, and I checked the statistics now, and it's around half a day, so I'm guessing, half a day more with the world open, so I'm guessing it's been around 12 hours since I started this, but it's been quite a fun project. I'm going off track here. What I wanted to say is nearly every single building here is now textured and detailed. We only have one building left, which is this little fun fellow here, which I'm not going to do on camera because that could take quite a while. But one thing I did want to mention about this challenge is there was a secret objective that I didn't tell anyone, and that's I wanted it to be as traversable as possible. When my brother walked in yesterday, he said it looked like a Call of Duty map, which is kind of my sign to say, hey, let's talk about this on the video now, because that's kind of what I was aiming for. First of all, I aimed to do this one big road that was, you know, going around, so everything's like a big circle, then everything's connected. You can traverse on top of all of these buildings. Like, you can parkour in between all of them and get from area to area. It is pretty freaking cool. And there's certain areas like this where you couldn't get on top of these two buildings, so I added that. I mean, I suck at parkour, even though that was so easy. But yeah, all you really have to do is that. Jump here now, and that's why I added some of these guys in, these ventilation systems, and then you can jump from this building onto this one, and that means that every single building in this area is traversable. The only problem that I've seen is because of this, you can now jump from this rooftop onto the side. Same with that rooftop here. So I'm going to have to raise these walls up, and what we have to do now, because all the buildings are mostly textured, is we need to detail this pathway, so when you're walking through it isn't just deep slate. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to throw in some textures like this. I might throw in some carpet and some moss carpet. Let's grab some of that out. The new stuff, not the old stuff. This, and we can throw in some carpet like this into the ground, and it just helps dirty up the floor a bit and makes it look a little more, helps to make it look a little more dirty and like all roughed up over time. We just add some buttons in too, like that. So you can see what I mean. That's like, oh, this is like a rough sketch. Maybe I'd add in some basalt too, because that always looks lovely on like roads. But yeah, that's sort of like a rough sketch of what I want the roads to look like when you're running around it. That should look really fun. And then after that, I need to texture the wall. Obviously, a lot of this I won't show on camera because it is a lot of work, and showing it on camera might tire you out a bit, might make you a little bored, which I don't want to do. I want views. I want you to stick around. It's kind of my whole thing. YouTubing and everything. But this is what we've got around here today. What we've done is really nice, and I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I know I say that a lot in videos. I'm happy with how this is turning out because usually I am. Random segment. Let's have a heart-to-heart here for a minute. A lot of builds that I do, sometimes I'll come out of them and I'll feel like they aren't as good as I might have wanted them to be. So when I do get a build like this and I do it on video and then it turns out this well, even though we did have some hiccups, I like to say that, you know, it's going really well. I've done really well. I feel good about it. And I know in the background over there, you can see some builds that I haven't shown on videos before, if you're a continuous watcher of this channel, and that's because I had to kind of get back into the flow of building, because after this video I was like worn out, I was tired, and I realized that I had lost a lot of my skills over like the time that I'd not been building for, which had been 2 weeks. I hadn't lost skills really, it's more like I needed to get back into the flow of it. But you know, this is what I've done in the background, and it really helped me to build myself up into doing something like this, which requires a lot more detailing work than anything like those two. Surprisingly enough, if you could guess out of all the items here which took the longest, you would probably guess something like this, but this I did it in around 3 hours. This was all like really quickly done, but something like that took me around 4 hours, and I was up at like 3 in the morning making that. This, on the other hand, has taken me the longest, I think, 12 hours. Maybe, no, wait, this whole thing here, this took me so long. This was a nightmare. This is my favorite though. This little guy's good. And these are banner patterns. I'm getting off topic. I have a bad habit of getting off topic. Let's see how the rest of this area ends up looking. So everybody, I have finished the build. I'm using Rethinking Voxels right now because out of all of the shader packs that I tried with this one looked the best. At the moment I'm at noon, so I could get some screenshots so I could show my friends. If I do time set day, so you got a more diagonal light, you can see what I mean. It looks so nice, doesn't it? And you've got these like rays as they come down and hit the corners. It looks really sweet actually, and I really love this. And it just looks so beautiful, and I will show you it without shaders on in a bit, but I just wanted to show you the areas that I did, because as I said at the beginning, this is all about feel, about making this place feel nice, and using shaders can be part of making something look really beautiful. Another thing that I did want to show you is if I do times set midnight, there we go. make it really dark. And I've worked on what this area looks like at night pretty much well too. So you've got certain areas like this where it's very gloomy, and when you walk through here, I've added glow lichen next to important areas. My brother said it looked like Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, which he said they're similar to, because I haven't played those games. Certain areas like this where I've just tried to get the light to look as cool as possible with different things hidden in corners. It looks pretty neat, and I really love certain areas, and just like a single lantern down here looks really pretty. And I really love how this whole area gets together. So yeah, let's show you it without shaders on. So like this. That is technically a shader, but not like a shader. It does special things I need for YouTube. Anyways, this is what it looks like without shaders on. It's still very pretty. We've still got this without shaders on, we get the grey sky, which is kind of the whole effect that we wanted to go for here. It's very gloomy. It's very realistic. It's still got that creepy feel that I really like. And obviously shaders, because I showed you shaders first, this looks a lot worse now. But generally, this is actually still a pretty good build for not using shaders for, like, just as a regular base Minecraft build. It's pretty cool. I can actually show you it with my shadows less. Let me just do that, and that would actually make the shadows darker. And you should be able to see what I'm talking about here now. It looks really nice, just really lovely. Every single corner, every single crevice of this place is put together. Everything works so well, and I'm so happy how it all came together. There's, as I said at the beginning, there are certain areas where you can sort of see inside, and I think there's a shop window here where you can, yeah, it's too dark. But actually there was a fog effect behind here, but it's too dark to see inside, so, I just forget about it now. A lot of this area looks cool. A lot of it's just black blocks for windows, but it works really well, and this whole city looks brilliant, and I'm so happy with how it came together. And with that said, please like and subscribe. Please check out some of my other content and stick around. You'll love my channel. I promise you that, because I do a lot of interesting stuff like this one. If you like, I mean, you're at the end of the video now, aren't you? So you must have liked it. And if you liked it, why do you like it? Literally like it, is in the YouTube function, liking and subscribing and yada yada yada. But this whole base looks amazing in the end. If you want to see more stuff like this, you get the gist. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.